We've discussed a lot of little details lately that hint at what's going to happen in Episode 5. However, I've started to notice a lot of subtle hints at what will be happening in Episode 6. Caine will be bringing back an old adventure, and the main characters will be facing off against a crazy butcher. In this video, I'll talk about what will drive Jax crazy in Episode 6. I propose to put together all the facts we know about Episode 6. We've known for a long time from Gooseworks' Twitter feed that Episode 6 will put Jax first and reveal his secrets to us. Those events that will happen in Episode 6 will be primarily Jax-related. We also have a message from Gooseworks on Tumblr. A user asked Gooseworks to describe in one word all future episodes of the amazing digital circus, starting with Episode 2. Episode 6 was described with the word guns. I want to draw your attention to the fact that these words are not random phrases or quotes from these episodes. They are specifically descriptions of something significant to the events of this episode. Because of this, it is easy to interpret these words incorrectly. What does all of this mean for the events of Episode 6? If we think back to Episode 2 and 3, we can see that Jax is most enamored with the different weapons that Caine gives to the main characters to complete the trials in the adventure. In the second episode, the characters were able to find many different weapons in the battle truck. In the third episode, Jax was the only character to take an anti-ghost weapon with him to Mildenhall Manor. He used a vacuum cleaner, which is a classic anti-ghost weapon after the movie Ghostbusters and the video game Luigi's Mansion. Jax caught Ghostly using the vacuum cleaner. If we go back to Episode 6, I can deduce that we'll see significantly more weapons in this episode than in any previous episode. But that pile of weapons is clearly not going to get to the main characters for nothing. Thus, we come to the question, why will the main characters need guns? Let's remember what made Jax very sad and disappointed at the end of the second episode. He was really counting on the circus team getting some sort of epic battle in the final adventure. Because of this, I'm confident that the adventure in Episode 6 will build on circumstances in which the main characters will engage in a serious and dangerous battle. If you compare the adventure of Episode 6 to the genre of the movie, it's definitely an action movie. I can think of several possibilities for the circumstances in which Jax gets the epic battle he dreams of. The first theory is that the characters will participate in an adventure called The Curse of the Crazy Psycho Butcher. I'm talking about the very adventure that the characters were supposed to go on in Episode 4, per Caine's plan. But Pomni asked to choose something less scary. I'm sure this adventure will return in Episode 6 because Caine never gives up on his ideas completely. In Episode 4, we could see the return of some NPCs. Ragatha mentioned back then in Episode 2 that Caine likes to bring back old NPCs from time to time in new adventures. So I don't believe that Caine will just pick up and forget about his adventure. This adventure will definitely have horror elements in the beginning. The main characters will have to explore a new location to understand the story of the adventure and learn how to fight the Mad Butcher, who will be the main antagonist in the new adventure. The main part of the adventure will consist of a boss battle in the person of the Mad Butcher. Most likely, the Butcher is not a simple person, and therefore it will not be easy to defeat him. The main characters will have to use different dangerous weapons, which will be given to them by Caine in the beginning, and which will have to be found on the location before the meeting with the Butcher will take place and the battle will start. I think the Butcher is going to be the scariest enemy we've encountered in adventures before. None of the antagonists in the adventures before were interested in hurting the main characters. They had their own goals and interests. The mysterious Butcher, on the other hand, is probably a cannibal, so he will want to kill the main characters. It is impossible to kill the main characters, but you can bring real suffering and pain to them. The enemy will be ruthless, so all the main characters will want him dead. I am sure that it is to the battle with him that Jax's phrase from a future episode, "I want you dead," refers. The atmosphere of this adventure will weigh heavily on the main characters. First of all, when Caine narrated the intro to this adventure in Episode 4, he talked about the meat hanging on the walls, and that it stinks badly. I think that not only the main characters will be captured by the cruel Butcher, but also other NPCs familiar to the characters. Over the course of the adventure's plot, the characters will try to rescue their friends, but the Butcher will kill them. At the expense of this, the characters will genuinely want him dead. What role will this adventure play in revealing Jax's character? I've told you a lot about Jax changing with each new episode. His psychological journey in the digital circus can be traced better than any other character. In the second episode, Jax acted like a horrible bully. He was hurting Gangle and demanding obedience from her. In doing so, Jax showed complete indifference to the opinions of Pomni and Regatha. In the second episode, Jax wanted an epic final battle and then found himself disappointed by its absence. In the third episode, Jax behaved more deliberately. He received punishment for his bad actions towards the ghosts. We saw him already tied up in Martha Mildenhall's room. In episode 4, after he was threatened that Caine would punish him, Jax changed his behavioral tactics. He stopped trying to hurt someone and started acting normal. He ran errands and socialized with Pomni and Zubul as an equal. In episode 6, Jax would be given that epic battle with guns, blood, and brutality, just like he wanted. But by this point, Jax will be emotionally attached to the other main characters and NPCs. He will no longer want any exciting battle. He'll go through the ordeal he's wanted for so long with Caine, and will rethink his stay in the digital circus. After episode 6, Jax's transformation will be complete. He will begin to behave very differently in the digital circus. Jax will stop trying to make fun of other characters. He will no longer bully Gangle, Ragatha, and Zubul. He will start listening to other characters and helping them. Jax will change his attitude towards Caine a lot. I think that after episode 6, Jax will start to hate Caine and make devious plans to trick and bully him as revenge for his cruel adventures. In fact, Jax's mind can make a big difference in the lives of all the digital circus characters. If Jax can think of ways to help all the characters instead of hindering them, it will turn things around. Jax can figure out how to keep Kinger in the dark all the time so he doesn't lose his memories. Perhaps Zubul will let Jax use parts from her infinity box, and Jax will put together goggles that will prevent the bright light from reaching Kinger's eyes. Jax can create a new mask for Gangle that won't restrict her senses while still being sturdy enough to not break from an accidental fall. It seems to me that after these events, Jax will start actively looking for an exit door. I will remind you that he has all the keys in the digital circus, so he can figure out how to get much further ahead than Pomni. Caine is clearly not going to let this go unnoticed. I don't think we know much about episode 7 because Caine will change his behavior a lot, starting with it. Zubul said that Caine doesn't touch them just because he likes them. But what if he stops liking them? Caine will become much more violent and try to force the characters to stop looking for a way out. But now, the whole team will be able to pull together to endure all the trials. What are your thoughts on this? What will the adventure be like in episode 6? Will Caine make use of the Psycho Butcher? How will Jax change, and will he be able to mend his relationships with the other characters? Write your thoughts and theories in the comments. Remember that I read all comments under my videos. The best comments will make it into the new videos. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Good luck everyone, and bye-bye.